Hello everyone, Hubert here, and a really special guest here today with me, legendary one and only Duff McKagan. Hello man, how are you? All good?
I'm good, man. It's good to be here. Thank you.
How do you feel before the tour?
Well, I'm in the midst of rehearsing my band right now. We're actually going to film us rehearsing today.
Mm.
So, so you know, the band is getting really cool. It's starting to really hit, and I feel good because I got good players again. My on Tenderness, I had Shooter Jennings and his band
Yeah.
who played on my record and were also my live band. This time around, because I had different players on the Lighthouse record, all Seattle people, I was able to stay home and rehearse this new band
Hmm.
here, and it's as cool as a band as Shooter's band, but they're different, but
Yeah.
both cool.
Yeah, that's great. We're gonna talk about the show in Poland also later, but as far as I know, a few years ago you bought the studio near to your home. And I'm really curious, did that change your life as a musician? I mean, do you spend maybe days and nights there, or how does it look?
Yeah, I mean, I bought the studio, and as it turned out, I mean, okay, the studio's 4 minutes from my house, so that makes it really convenient. I bought it. I mean, I finally got my own studio.
Hmm.
It's this little building that was a studio forever that none of us knew about. It's close to my house. I mean, it was like kind of incredible. And then what happened? 2019 turned into 2020. I had a bunch of songs to record, but Guns was going to go out and do a world tour. So I went back down to LA and we started rehearsing, and COVID hit.
Yeah.
So came back to Seattle. We have my wife and I, and my daughters who are in their 20s. Everybody's kind of like, okay, so we'll just take a couple weeks and figure out when this thing passes by us. This COVID thing. And I just went into my studio. I'm like, I have songs to finish. This is great. It's a nice little. So for 2 weeks, I'll finish those songs, and then 2 weeks turned into
Hmm.
4 weeks, and then turned into eight. As we know, it turned into like a year and a half. So I just kept, because I have my own studio so close to my house. And once you're recording it, creating it, in my case, just more songs come. They just keep coming. And you can go record it the next day. And by the end of that time, I had like 60 songs recorded.
Yeah.
They just kept coming. And so Lighthouse is really just the first little bit from all of these songs we recorded. I've recorded more since then, you know. So having a studio near my house with Martin, who's my producer guy, it has changed my life.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
So, do you plan to release these 60 songs on the next albums, or maybe there will be something like B-sides, or maybe you're
Yeah.
already working on new music?
Well, I'm going to release a new song. I think the day we start touring in Dublin, we're going to rehearse it with a B side. The classic. It's the way I still think, like a single with a B side. I still think that way. Although
Hmm.
it's digital and all that stuff now, but you just make more material available. So I've got a couple songs coming out in a couple weeks,
Hmm.
um, and I have one other record's completely already like arranged song wise. Okay, we got that record, and I don't know when I'll put it out because there's more gun stuff to come here
Mm.
uh, sooner than later. So I don't want to put out a record while Guns is doing a thing. I try to stagger all of that stuff. So when that record will come out, the next record, I don't know, but I could just put three records out at one time, but that'd be too much.
Yeah. Especially in these times, when people want to hear more singles, maybe short formats.
Yeah.
But how do you consider the album form in these days? Is it still really important for you to release
It
music
is.
as the albums?
Yeah, it is. I mean, to me, and I'll never give this up. I mean, it's just the way I came up. Like albums, you listen from side A, song one, flipped it, and listened all the whole way, and those records became these soundtracks to your life, you know. And you would look at the vinyl, look at the, you know, the packaging and where the record was recorded and all that stuff. And I still, it's really nice for me to see like vinyl really coming back, like in a real way. And my daughter's looking at albums now, you know, like, wow, look at, you know, it's not just a little thing on your iPhone screen. Like the record cover is this little, like, I do the art, you know, we do artwork, and, you know, it's all important to me. I still like to tell a story with an album, and Lighthouse was no different. It starts with the song Lighthouse, and it takes you in this journey, you know, and it ends you up at Just Don't Know, and which is like pondering what's next. So I liked it. There's hope in the middle of the song, you know, with an actual song called Hope. You know, there's peaks and valleys to the lyrics, lyrically. So it's important for me. I always put out albums, no matter what, you know, anybody else thinks. And people seem to like vinyl. You know, I do well on vinyl because I give a shit. I make the vinyl sound good, test pressings and mastering the vinyl and doing all that stuff is important to me.
And how do you listen to music? And these days, from the perspective of a listener, are you listening to vinyls at your home, or maybe, you know, as streaming is more and more popular, you stream too?
We do it all. We have a room downstairs here that is our vinyl room, and I got a ton of great vinyl, and we listen to records and play video games. My wife's got this video game machine down there. We just put on records and play video games, and it's great. You know, it's and then up in the, like, we have like in our house, like we have like it's a smart house, whatever you call it now. You know, you have the little iPads on your walls, and we listen to, it's called Tune In, and that's radio stations around the world. So we'll put on like a new wave station in New Zealand, or 90s station somewhere else in Germany, like, and we just kind of try to get this, or we listen to new music with our daughters, like really new music, you know, super underground stuff. In my car, I listen to satellite radio. Okay. Here it's called Sirius XM. It's a bunch of different, you can listen to any kind, you know, yacht rock to, you know, hard rock to disco, whatever you want to listen to. It's like there's a channel for all of it. Yeah. Okay.
There are three very special guests on your new album Lighthouse. The first one is Slash in a song called Hope, and as far as I know, that song was recorded in the 90s, right?
It was recorded in 1996. Yeah, it was a record I'd made called Beautiful Disease that right as it was about to come out. I mean, it was packaged. I'd done all the interviews, like I'm doing that right now with you. I'd done, you know, all the photos set, all the stuff, planned the tour, and get our record company, my record company, Geffen, got bought by a bigger company, Universal. And they bought up a bunch of record companies. And my record suddenly wasn't going to come out the next week. I'm like, well, okay, is it going to come out in 2 weeks? Like, I got a tour plan, you know, LA Times just did a big piece on this record, you know, like, let's go. And it never came out. Record never came out. And a bunch of records never came out. Mine was one of them. So it took me, it was during the COVID, 2020, I finally got the masters back from that record. It took 24 years. You know, I don't know what they were doing with the masters or why they cared, but I got them back. And we listened to it when I was recording all this other music. We took a day and listened to Beautiful Disease, we had all the tracks, I had the masters. And it seemed like that song, Hope, really fit the Lighthouse theme. We needed a song of hope right in the middle of that record. Mm-hmm. And, you know, hearing Slash and me and Abe Laborio, who plays drums for Paul McCartney now, really cool little band, you know, mm-hmm. and a cool little song. And I'm like, let's put that on. I re-sang it so my voice sounds the same through the record, but other than that, it's all that original recording.
All right. So do you plan to release the other recordings from
there's some really cool stuff on there. So yeah, for sure. I worked so hard on it back then. Mm-hmm. I just don't want to let it go. You know, there's a song in particular called Undone that I think I'll put on the next record and just slowly kind of put these songs out, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no right or wrong these days as far as like how you release music, you know. Maybe I'll make a vinyl of Beautiful Disease.
Okay. Yeah. And how did you feel back then? Because, you know, you've put a lot of work to make this album and it's not coming out. I mean...
Oh, it sucked. It sucked really bad. The only upside is, in my life at that time, is I had just met Susan. You know, I had this wonderful relationship. You know, a year later, she was pregnant with our first baby. Mm-hmm. Other musical stuff came up. I was in the Neurotic Outsiders. You know, I had other things, but it was a real kick in the fucking balls when they just said, yeah, your record's not coming out. I worked a year and a half on that record. What do you mean it's not coming out? I did all the press for that record. What do you mean it's not coming out? I did all the artwork and photo and mixed and mastered that thing. What do you mean it's not coming out? Give it back to me. Oh, no, we're not going to give it back to you. So it was something I had to work through, you know, emotionally. And then, you know, I think everything kind of happens for a reason, you know, and in my life especially so, I feel that way. And I never look back at things as regret or any of that. It just happened. That's what happened to me. I have the masters back now. So fuck them, you know. Mm-hmm. They are, you know, the big record companies are not your friend. I learned that sometime in the 90s, you know. So, yeah, that's that.
Yeah, sure. Jerry Cantrell joins you in a really beautiful song, I Just Don't Know, with a really beautiful video, by the way. How the idea for this one came up?
Well, the song itself, I had the chord structure and I had a melody. I didn't have the words for the chorus, and I was walking my dog, who's trying to get my attention right now. I was walking my dog one night, and the lyrics came to me. You know, I was looking out at the stars, and I'm along the lake, and there's the water, and there's the, you know, oceans undertow, and the stars were like the ethers ever glow, and I just don't know, you know. And hold on, I gotta get this. Sorry to the listening audience, I have to get my dog out of the room. Dude. So unprofessional. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
My dog is very unprofessional. Super unprofessional.
I mean, we're on the YouTube, so. You know.
Okay. Yeah. So I had the song. I recorded it in the studio. It was just acoustic in my voice. Jerry Cantrell and I, we send each other demos here and there. You know, because I know if I send him something, he's just gonna. Not going any further than that, and we comment back and forth like, I like that song a lot. What are you gonna do with it? You know. So this one I sent to him, and he's like, hey man, you want me to put something on there? I really like that song a lot. You want a lead? You want a backing vocal? I'm like, I'll take both of those. Thank you. And so he put a really cool lead on there, and he was in Seattle, and he came and sang on it, played lead on it, and it was, you know, it was so special. Jerry and I just played on his most recent record.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of trade off and help each other out musically. And he's a badass. And getting Iggy on there to kind of reprise the Lighthouse theme at the end of the record. I just played on an Iggy record. I did 5 shows with him, which he's one of my top 3 all time. Mm-hmm. You know, for me to do anything with Iggy, it's like I always just pinch myself. Mm-hmm. And when he offered to do something for my record, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" You know.
Okay, so he offered that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really, really very nice of him. Very sweet. And it's like we just got his vocal, like his talking voice. We got it in the studio, and I mean, his voice so big it shook the speakers. We had we had no music behind it or anything, just his voice, and we put the music behind it. But I don't go out and try to look for guests for my record. But if it happens like that, my guests, my friends happen to be Slash or Jerry Cantrell, or in this case, like Iggy Pop, and so I like having my friends on my records. I love that.
Yeah, all these collaborations fit really well on the album, so that's great. You're gonna play in Poland really soon, Warsaw Klub Stodoła on October 13th.
Yes.
What could your Polish fans expect about this show? You're gonna bring something special?
Yeah, I mean, I went to Poland. It was the first show of Europe on my Tenderness tour.
Mm-hmm.
Poland was, and I'd seen over the years Poland really grow as a live music audience. They really appreciate live music in Poland, and it's really kind of separated itself from other countries around there. It's a really great place to go play.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I play a lot of places, and Poland, like, you watch it like kind of explode, like it's fucking awesome, but I didn't know how Tenderness, like that kind of music would. I was kind of nervous about it. Like, well, they don't know me to do this kind of music. Is anybody going to show up? I don't know. You have no idea. I like to do different kind of music when I'm doing something on my own. Like, so I show up to the show, we do sound check, and they said, no, a lot of tickets have sold. I think it's sold out. I'm like, well, it was kind of a big place. It was like 1,000 or 1,100 people, whatever it was. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. I hope they like this, And they showed up, the audience showed up, and they were singing the songs. And the album had just come out. They were singing the songs. People were crying, like in certain songs, laughing, smiling, hugging. And it was like, I just want to tour Poland. Like, this is the best. So I'm looking forward to coming there. I don't know, if people in Poland like the Tenderness thing, they're just going to get more of that. And it's a different band. It's a super cool band. So if you like the Tenderness thing, which I guess, they did in Poland, I think they'll like this.
Okay. Please tell me, what's the difference in maybe emotional sense for you between the Duff McKagan show and the Guns N' Roses show?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's become more of the songs are more personal, then they're coming from personal experiences or observations I make when I travel, because I do that a lot. I go out and I'll observe different cultures and society. And I've been doing this observing for like 40 fucking years, And I read a lot of books, I read a lot of history, world history, not just America, And I try to go out and go to coffee shops and stuff. So what I gather up, especially in a time of like really gross, like politics, like the common decency has been kind of lost in, we all see it. I know you see it there, and I see it. Common decency, which is not punk rock, man. You know, like Common Decency is punk rock. When you throw that to the curb and just are loud and obnoxious and putting fear into people, this is when these songs, the subject matter, I'm like, no. I've observed us, and we're good. We're good. Humankind is good. We have common decency, and we want to show each other our best. And when I write song, you know, in that kind of territory, I try to shed some of the brightness that is there. So when I play it live, you know, it becomes, to me, it's more like not preaching. It's like this inclusive thing, all of us together. And like some of the gigs have become like kind of like a gospel church, you know. It's like everybody's in the thing together. It's very special, you know. And we get that in Guns N' Roses as well, like this all inclusive, you know, fucking thing. We're going to Civil War or something, you know. It's like people are into it. But you know, this is a smaller setting. I can see everybody. Sometimes these venues I'm playing, because they're like the 1,000-seater, whatever they are, they're like small old theaters, and they're very beautiful and ornate, and it's just a really nice experience.
Are Guns N' Roses preparing the new album?
Say it again.
Are Guns N' Roses preparing the new album?
That's always possible. It's always a possibility. You know, we never talk about that. Yeah.
Do you plan to release the Lighthouse as a live album too, as you did with Tenderness?
I don't know. We'll see about that. That's a good question. That was cool, the Tenderness thing, to do that 5 years later. It kind of like bridged the gap between me putting out Lighthouse and me actually touring Lighthouse. We found this really great recording of El Rey Theater in Los Angeles, and there was a video of it and all that stuff. So we put that out. Lighthouse, we'll see. We'll see.
Thank you so much, Duff, for this amazing conversation. All the best for you with the tour. Thanks so much.
I look forward to coming to Poland. All right, man. See you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.